Well, good morning, lovely ladies and gentlemen. Steve Collins coming to you from cloudy San Antonio, Texas, the second most powerful, passionate, and purposeful coach and speaker in the world. This is a quick nugget of revelation for you that is part of a point I make in the book I have written. And in that book, there's a personal story about an evening in my household. For those of you that know, I'm a father of 7. We still have 6 in the house, and 5 of those are teenagers right now. Let me say that one more time for those of you going through challenges. 5 teenagers in my house right now. What exactly does that mean for those of you who do not have teenagers? That means we are in a home with human beings whose frontal lobes that are not nearly fully developed according to neuroscience, and whose frontal lobes are responsible for acknowledging consequences for decisions. Well, those frontal lobes are not developed and do not develop until the early 20s. So we are in a household of human beings who have hormones that tell them they're adults, with a brain that does not discuss imagery or ideas of consequences of decisions. It is a danger zone, ladies and gentlemen. 5 teenagers in my house. I joke with people and say my beard should be black. It's not, and that's largely why. So in this book, I discuss working with one of my strong-willed children and having a conversation about, I don't have to do that. I can do what I want. And the normal conversation, if you are in a heated conversation, is to exert your lowest form of leadership as a parent. Those of you who have crappy bosses know what I'm talking about. People who will use the title card. Well, I'm your boss, so you gotta do it this way. Titles are the lowest form of leadership. The greatest form of leadership, according to John Maxwell, is influence. So, in this chapter in my book, I'm discussing this revelation I had in the moment to no longer argue, yes, you do have to do what we tell you to do because you live here, this is our house. It was this discourse. Son, you're right. You're actually right. You don't have to do that. Which, of course, was a pattern interrupt that shocked him and changed the energy of the conversation. The whole energy of the conversation shifted. You're right. You don't have to do that. In fact, you are free to choose. However, you are not free from the consequence of your decisions. So if you choose to do this, here's what's going to happen. If you choose not to do this, here's what's going to happen. You have the freedom to choose. As adults, this principle rings true as well. Everybody wants to fight for their freedom. I am free to do whatever the heck I please. I mean, after all, hey, here in Texas, this is Texas. I'm free to do whatever the hell I feel like doing because I'm a free man. Sir, you are free to think what you want and to do what you want. You will never be free from the consequences of that or those decisions. And that is the conversation. Does somebody have the freedom to drink a 5th of Jack Daniels every night? Absolutely, they have the freedom to do that. Are they free from the consequences of destroying their liver and probably their relationships? No, they're not. The consequences show up. Are you free to walk in unforgiveness and bitterness? You absolutely are free to walk in bitterness and unforgiveness. And you are not free from the consequences of walking in bitterness and unforgiveness, which is creating a negative vibe, which is creating a toxic environment in your physical body, in your thinking, that is open to and susceptible to disease coming in. Think about disease broken up in 2. Dis-ease. When the body and the mind are not at ease, or in some type of peace or joy. They're in dis-ease. You invite disease. So when you are thinking today about your freedom, I want you to consider this. You are definitely free to choose whatever you want, legal or illegal. You are not free from the consequence of your decision. I hope today that you recognize just because something is legal for you to participate in, or doesn't seem to have any initial consequences, or the pleasure of the moment seems worth it, please realize you will pay the piper, ladies and gentlemen. You will pay the piper. There's a price to pay. You're either going to pay in discipline or you're going to pay in regret. Either way, there's a price to pay. You are free to choose, and you are not free from the consequence of your choice. My charge to you today is think once, think twice, think 3 times about it if you have to. Write it down on a sheet of paper, and don't make a permanent decision during a temporary frustration. Please recognize that your liberty to enjoy your freedom is not free from the consequences of the liberty of your choices. You guys have a great day.